paper route started in the Fraser area of Memphis, Tennessee. The more papers you delivered, the more money you could earn, and the only way to increase this income would be to have a motorcycle. I liked the small Honda, the one my friend Dennis had. Dennis could deliver over 200 papers, finishing early and making more money than me. I knew my dad would never allow it. He was very clear. I was not even allowed to ride a motorcycle, let alone operate one. This was before helmet laws were introduced in our city. My father had been a medic in the Army and had later worked as an ambulance driver. He had seen too many injuries and deaths from motorcycles to allow his sons to ride them. I knew enough to let it go. I met Dennis that morning at the gas station, and he said he would come over to help me finish my route. We would then go back to his house and sleep for a couple of hours before going out to enjoy our summer break from school. It was July 15th, 1965, the day before my dad's 46th birthday. I was tired that morning and was looking forward to finishing my route and getting a little sleep at Dennis's house. I heard the sound of his motorcycle coming down the road. "Hey, hand me some papers," he shouted. I gratefully passed over my last ones for the remaining houses. In no time, all the newspapers were delivered, and Dennis came back to meet me. "I'll follow you home," I said, knowing he would get back to his house faster than I would. "Why don't you just leave your bike here and hop on the back?" he suggested matter-of-factly. This made sense. It would be so much quicker, I reasoned. But all of a sudden I heard my dad's voice in my head. "Son, I don't want you riding motorcycles." What should I do? I thought. I stifled a yawn. I was exhausted. Desire for sleep won out. I ignored my conscience and disobeyed my dad. He'd never even know, right? Grabbing my empty bags, I left my bike behind a fence and jumped on behind Dennis as he revved the engine and pulled away. We were nearly home when we saw the 50-passenger Memphis city bus. To turn right onto an intersecting road, the driver had to make a wide, sweeping left turn on the narrow S-curve in the road. As the driver came to our side of the street, Dennis tried to swerve right to get out of the way of the bus. Instead, the motorcycle hit some loose gravel in the center of the intersection and started sliding. As Dennis was slowly braking, leaning to the right to avoid hitting the bus head-on, the back end of the motorcycle where I was sitting rotated closest to it. As if in slow motion, I slipped off the back of the motorcycle, terrified. I was headed straight under the bus and passed out on impact. The back double wheels ran over the right side of my torso, hip, and thigh. The brakes screeched as the bus driver realized a human body was under his vehicle. Because the driver thought the wheels were still on top of me, he reversed the bus, running back over my leg, tearing up my body as the weight of the wheels crushed my right leg from knee to pelvis. Dennis escaped uninjured. As I regained consciousness, I was lying on the street next to the back wheels of the bus, people standing over me. The first thing I remember was the sound of Dennis's mother's voice. We were only a few hundred yards from Dennis's home. "He's dead! He's dead!" she screamed. I remember thinking, I can't be dead. If I can think. At the same time, I was crying out in pain, losing a lot of blood. I just wanted someone to lift my head up off the ground so I could see what had happened to me. When eventually someone did lift my head, I passed out from shock at what I saw. An ambulance arrived, and I was rushed to the hospital. My dad worked nights for a trucking company, and my mother had been waiting for the very bus that ran over me. She was on her way to work as a bookkeeper at a wholesale company on Main Street in Memphis. When the bus did not arrive, she had walked back home and asked my older brother David to drive her to work. Later, it was David who took the call from the hospital and contacted Mom and Dad to tell them what had happened. My parents came to the hospital as soon as they received